and military complex.
Yeah, thank you very much, Maureen. Yes, indeed, I will try to present this issue of the industrial military complex in Kazakhstan and foreign cooperation, actually, which I must acknowledge overlaps a little bit with the third and with the second and last panel. It's a little bit difficult to talk about this topic without foreign cooperation. Both of them are being very connected. So, well, for the last 10 years, Kazakhstan has intrinsically linked the reinforcing of its military security with its economic capacity, and it sees the revival of the military-industrial complex as one of the spearheads of the national economy and as one of the drivers of its integration to the globalized economy. So what are the priorities in terms of armaments for Kazakhstan? In March 2007, Nazarbayev launched a national program for the development of armaments and of the military technologies of the armed forces, as well as for the development of the military-industrial complex of the Republic up until 2015. The goal is to renovate and to modernize the armed forces, to embark on a policy of purchasing new weapons, and to develop local capacities to restore equipment in order to reduce the purchase of material from abroad, which of course is much more expensive. The military doctrine of 2011 does not propose any notable changes in terms of structuration of the military forces, but instead a transformation of the industrial basis of defense so that the country is better able to respond to the problem linked to re-equipping. As you know, Kazakhstan hosts a relatively large portion of the ex-Soviet armament industry. It produced equipment for the nuclear sector, naval materials, anti-aircraft defense systems, missiles, and aeronautics. And with the fall of the Soviet Union, a major part of the Kazakhstani military-industrial complex was very severely hit, and even a part of it even collapsed. During the Soviet period, almost all the enterprises connected with the Kazakhstani military-industrial complex were downstream of the components supplied by other Soviet republics. And the brutal rupture of links between republics led to the closure of several factories, but it equally made maintenance operations difficult, as none of them was housed to a complete technological cycle. The aim of some enterprises was thus to recreate an entire production cycle for the domestic market. The diversification of production has become the sector's watchword. Enterprises still in operation have reconverted to the production of dual or civil material for the hydrocarbon sector, railway transport, chemical and nuclear industry. And today, about half the revenues of companies of the Kazakhstani military-industrial complex come actually from the non-military sector. Several factories are also open to foreign orders, in particular from India and from China, often in the role of subcontractors for contracts won by the Russian company Rosaboronexport. While Kazakhstan has hitherto been closely linked to Russian production, the declared objective is now to diversify the clients, but also to emphasize the national potential. So export prospects also lie at the heart of the Kazakh strategy. So in this perspective of a renewal and development, the Kazakhstani government foresees the creation of center of modernization, for example, of the production lines of equipment, new factories to produce vehicles and artillery systems, and factories specialized in the production of munitions. To meet the projected ambition, of strengthening national production capacities in the concerns to reduce Kazakhstan's dependency on purchasing foreign-made weaponry, a rationalization effort was started in 2003 with a regrouping of the major part of armament undertakings into one holding, which is, as you know, Kazakhstan Engineering, which counts something like 24 subsidiaries, including 17 that do dual production. In terms of equipment, Kazakhstan is trying to master dual technologies in the field of aeronautics and to renew the aviation park, to accelerate electronic solutions for aviation and the army, and to increase the operation efficiency of its army through updating systems that allow more effective joint operating. The state has also initiated a long-term process of technological re-equipping for the security forces. Thus, the priorities for defense are intelligence and control, electronic warfare, drones, personal protection equipment, and precision military weaponry. For the non-traditional security problems, Astana hopes to acquire material for monitoring and tracing individuals, both as border post and on the national territory, for protecting its infrastructure with efficiency, for combating cyber attacks and pandemic risk, and for being able to intervene rapidly in case of domestic unrest, which necessitates multifunctional equipment like electronic weapons, and etc. But of course, the Kazakh authorities are aware that the national industry will not be able to satisfy the needs of defense. The obsolescence of production equipment, the chaotic or somewhat chaotic management, and reduced state budget support to minimal levels in the 1990s have in fact considerably burdened this section of industry. So the country has engaged in a policy of purchasing from and cooperating with other countries. So the Kazakh strategy is structured around three major axes. First, the purchase of Russian materials and technology transferred from Russia. Second, the purchase of technologies outside of Russia. And third, the development of an autonomous production capacity of small combat weapons and munitions liable to be exported to other Central Asian countries and even to some Asian and Middle Eastern countries unable to afford the prices demanded, for example, by some major Western firms. So in this domain, Kazakhstan could present itself as a rival and not only as a client of Russia. The Kazakh policy of foreign acquisition is characterized by actually two complementary strategies. The first consists in attracting, in the short term, a growing number of foreign companies able to supply the country with the missing material it needs. And the second strategy, which is on more long term, foresees the production of importing components and the creation of joint ventures thanks to the technology transfers, the aim being to free the military-industrial complex from the weight of foreign influences. Following this double rationale, the strategy of the Defense Ministry consists in promoting national companies over foreign suppliers. Kazakhstan aims to produce in 2020 80% of its needs in military material designed to modernize the army, the air force, and the navy, which is, of course, very high and probably unlikely a figure, but it indicates the directions which are being taken now by Kazakhstan. And this strategy also shows that Kazakhstan aims to become an important actor on the international arena in terms of the production and operation of weaponry, able again to rival the major global producers in certain sectors. So Kazakhstan has established cooperation with 15 different countries. Of course, well, I will start with the Russia-Kazakh partnership. The purchase of Russian materials and the transfer of technologies from Russia continues to be the core of Kazakhstan's strategies to modernize its military industrial complex. Russia and Kazakhstan are linked by about 60 agreements of military and military industrial cooperation, which can be explained by their strategic alliance as by the Soviet heritage, which means that their military industrial complexes are naturally compatible. The air defense system of both countries are intrinsically linked. In January 2013, Moscow and Astana confirmed the implementation of a unified regional system of air defense similar to that is in place between Russia and Belarus. Two other elements reinforce the interrelations of the Russian and Kazakhstan military industry. Kazakhstan has a guarantee of being able to purchase arms produced in Russia at the domestic market price, a privilege which is offered within the framework of this ESTO. And the majority of Kazakh defense officers, well, at least a large number of Kazakh defense officers and security services are still trained in Russia and have close links with their Russian counterparts. And Astana has asked Moscow to help concretize its priorities for modernizing its land, air, and naval forces, the maintenance and repairing of helicopters, the purchase of advanced technology, the re-equipping of brigades that participate in the rapid reaction collective forces, the establishing of a navigation system for the Navy, and the research and development of special use military vehicles. So three essential planks constitute this Russian-Kazakhstani military industrial partnership. First, the purchase of Russian material. For example, weaponry exports from Rosabaron exports to Kazakhstan multiplied by 70 between 2010 and 2012. The second point is that the joint production of material, such as the Iker armament and ship design for the Caspian fleet on the Kazakh territory, which was relaunched in the 2000s, and the third point is the upkeep and maintenance of Kazakh material. Besides Russia, some former allies from the Eastern Bloc kept onto the weapons industry located on their territories. This is essentially the case with, for example, Ukraine and Belarus, which are Astana's two partners of choice. They make it possible for Kazakhstan to shock Russia's stranglehold on its industrial military complex, while offering them compatible materials, since it was inherited, as you know, from the Soviet regime, which that already existed. Of course, so beyond the former Soviet bloc, Kazakhstan has looked to become involved in partnerships outside of the former Soviet socialist bloc, and to engage with NATO countries, European Union countries, of course, the United States, Turkey, as well as Israel and South Korea. The Kazakh authorities do not consider the final goal. Every partnership with a foreign company must include technology transfer and must be organized on an equal basis. So I will give a few examples. I mean, the list is obviously not an exhaustive list. It's just to give, to illustrate the cooperation that Kazakhstan has tried to launch with several countries. Partnership with European firms advanced quickly, especially from 2010, and contributed actually to the big increase of EU-Kazakhstan trade. And for example, Kazakhstan is particularly interested in the aeronautic sectors. And among big contracts, Astana signed in 2010 an agreement with Eurocopter for the acquisition of 45 EC-145A helicopters. And a joint venture between Eurocopter and Kaz Engineering was formed with an annual production capacity of 12 aircrafts. Contracts were also signed with EADS for the purchase of 8 Airbus C295 planes. The first 2 of them actually were already delivered in 2013, and the remaining 6 being due for delivery between now and 2018. Sorry. The United States is not extremely active in the Kazakh market, as American firms were hesitant to get involved in a market they considered rather unreliable, but some of them lent specific help, for example, to the creation of the Kazakh Navy in the Caspian Sea. Several Turkish companies like Turkish Aerospace Industry, Aselsan, and Yüksel Savunma Sistemleri, sorry for my very bad pronunciation in Turkish, these companies have signed some MOUs with Kazakh partners. Turkey presents itself as a partner of choice for Kazakhstan since, apart from the trade links, Ankara is really able to negotiate with its status as a NATO member country and therefore to sell material compatible with NATO standards. And you have, again, a cooperation with many other countries, like for example with Israel, which sees Kazakhstan as a market for the taking, and in the end of the 2000s, Astana adopted an agreement with 2 Israeli companies, Soltam and Elbit, to develop new artillery systems, a command system, and integrated control. So, as a conclusion, it's okay. 4 regional and sectoral niches are taking shape for the Kazakhstani military-industrial sector. First, Kazakhstan can hope to become one of the suppliers of its Central Asian neighbors in several military sectors, as they have far fewer industrial resources. Also, for the time being, Central Asia represents only 5% of exports of the Kazakh military-industrial complex. This situation could, however, progress in the years to come. The country could also position itself as a financial and technological investor. Technoexport Kazakhstan, for example, was expected to invest in Kyrgyzstan, even if I'm not sure it's going really well so far. The second point, Kazakhstan can target a larger regional market encompassing Mongolia, Afghanistan, Ukraine, and the Caucasus, as it will offer products that are not cutting edge, but that will be offered as competitive prices. Eurocopter Kazakhstan Engineering signed, for example, an MOU with Ulaanbaatar for the maintenance of some EC-145 helicopters bought by Mongolia, and to train the helicopter teams. Third point, Kazakhstan may become the sidekick of the Russian military-industrial complex by acquiring technology transfers and engaging in joint ventures that reinforce its integration in Russian production, in line with the model inherited from the Soviet regime, from the Soviet times, where products were made of components produced in different factories. Still today, more than half of Kazakhstan engineering exports are bound for Russia. And the fourth, Kazakhstan may become an intermediary for European, Asian, and Russian companies that are targeting the Central Asian market, but also in certain fields for India and for China, particularly in that of aviation, and potentially also provided it makes advances in that of the Navy. Kazakhstan already exports individual plane parts to China and to Vietnam and ship parts to India. So, and this will be my very, very last point. Kazakhstan today is in the process of rethinking its definition of security and of aligning it with non-conventional challenges. This reorientation is pushing it to give a greater importance to new defense tools, a less overmanned but more professional army, one that is better equipped and better training, which requires satellite communication, precision weapons, drones, as well as geostrategic and economic intelligence, not to mention the automation of information and decision-making processes and greater cooperation between these different forces. And I will stop here. Thank you.